Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. As of the recording of this video, Maitreya has been doing interviews around the world in the United States and other countries, China, Europe, Japan, and more countries that I probably don't even know of, but he's been speaking on TV fairly regularly, talking about the needs for justice, for sharing, for peace, and so forth, talking about probably addressing our political issues and stuff. Now, if you scour the internet looking for Maitreya on TV, you're not going to find it. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to find it. Because most people aren't talking about him, right? Now, why is that? I talked in greater depth about this in a previous video, but it's because he's speaking in incognito. His tone is very muted. His solutions are probably very watered down. He doesn't look the way he looks in the pictures that you might see if, you know, on my videos when I put the videos of the pictures of him as he appeared in Nairobi, Kenya. He obviously doesn't look like that. But he's also not being introduced by the hosts as a Messiah or somebody who thinks he's the Christ. He's not coming out and saying, oh yes, I'm the one that Benjamin Creme was talking about, lo these many years. Of course he's not talking about that. Now, he's just being presented as one of us, but a concerned member of society who's very deeply concerned about the problems of the world. His solutions, although they're broad and very simple at the same time, I'm sure it's very muted, very watered down. But as time goes on, he'll start to talk in greater, depth about his solutions to our problems. Be a little bit more stern in terms of the need to solve these problems and with a greater pace and more of a sense of urgency than we, of course, are doing today. These signs like UFO sightings around the world and in our atmosphere will start to increase more and more and more. They're going on now, so that's past tense, and they've been going on for decades. But why is he doing it like this? Well, he doesn't want to scare humanity off. You know, he knows probably better than anybody the hearts and minds of the listener when they're listening to him speak on TV. And he doesn't want to frighten somebody off, and it will probably make it take longer to have his priorities, come about, peace, sharing, and justice, if he was too radical. If you want to hear about his priorities and read about his priorities in greater depth, go to Share International magazine or shareinternational.org. Benjamin Creme's been talking about Maitreya's priorities for years, very directly, very direct. But that's the reason why most people can't accept it, and they don't believe Benjamin Creme to be speaking the truth. That's why Maitreya is having to very quietly, very softly, share his priorities and tell his priorities to the world. If you look at the UFOs, for instance, they're doing the same thing around the world. Our space brothers flying in the atmosphere, creating these sites all over the world. Well, there's still an element of deniability. That's what our governments do. They love to deny the fact that the space brothers and ships are out there. So they make up all sorts of things. Failed missile test, swamp gas. That's my favorite. You see a strange light flying around at supersonic speed. Well, that was swamp gas. Definitely swamp gas. But yet more and more people are starting to talk about UFOs as a reality. It's kind of, out there. You talk to the average person, it's almost becoming accepted, as a mainstream theory, at least. And, but as time goes on, I think Maitreya's priorities and who this man is on TV will start to kind of do the same thing. People will start to kind of talk about it more and more. Word of mouth will start to spread. Like, I heard this guy on TV, he was talking about something that was quite radical, sharing. All our leaders keep talking about that as socialism, but yet he's saying it's a good thing, or when he says it, it doesn't seem like a bad thing, or whatever. I don't know what people's reactions are going to be, or everyone's reactions are going to be, of course, but I'm sure that's kind of going to be going on, right? And he's talking in this way to not scare people away, like I was saying, but he's also talking this way because he's coming into a very, very, very divided world, And he's coming in to inspire us and galvanize us to change every structure in our society and our civilization to be a reflection of the inner truth within the hearts of all humanity, which is unity, which is oneness. Can you imagine that job? I sure as heck don't want that job, but only the level of somebody of the Christ could undertake that. An average person couldn't do that. But as time goes on, we'll start to see our structures change to be a reflection of unity. Now, if you look at the structures today, they're very divided. Why? Because our structures are all built on two things: competition and greed. Our educational system, competition and greed. Why do people go to college to begin with? To get a better job, to get ahead, to be more competitive. Competition, greed. What are they teaching us? The basic arithmetic, how to add and subtract, which is important. I'm not saying it isn't. But do you know if your kids, I know my daughter's not being taught the laws of life in middle school, about the law of cause and effect, the law of reincarnation, the fact that we are one. Of course not. It's just this. It's just social studies. It's English, which is important topics. I'm not saying it isn't, but it's just, the real heart, the real meaty part of life, which, the two laws that govern humanity the most, the law of cause and effect and the law of rebirth and reincarnation, are not being taught in the schools, right? What's the other one? Medical profession, right? You go for a simple procedure, you got to pay through the nose for a simple procedure sometimes, even when you have insurance, You go to get a root canal done at the dentist, you got dental insurance, you still got to pay $1,000, it's just, you have serious medical conditions, well then, you can go into debt and go bankrupt, of course, because of it. Even when you have insurance through your job. In this country, I don't know about, I'm familiar kind of with what's going on in Europe. They have a better, more just, more sane way of looking at the medical field and the way that patients pay for it and stuff. But in this country, they're scared to death of it. I think it's socialism, but it's a right that everyone should have on the planet. It's a right that the United Nations said in the UN, a Declaration of Human Rights. Do I even need to point out that our political and economic structures are based on greed and competition? You have to be pretty thick to not see that. But yet, as time goes on, Maitreya is going to start to galvanize humanity to change those structures so that they're saner, but they're also a reflection of that inner unity within all of us. I can't even imagine what the political field's going to look like when that changes. Woo-wee! I'm excited about that. But everything will change. Like I say over and over again, nothing less than the total transformation of the hearts and minds of every person living, every person on the planet from now on will be changed forever. The fact that we have, as a fact, know that there are life on other planets, the fact that, and the truth that we are souls in incarnation, discovered scientifically in the future, will all come about. But Maitreya's first priority is to inspire and galvanize us to start to base our economic structure on the system of sharing, so that we can all have food and clothing and shelter. And then as time goes on, he'll start to inspire humanity to help save our environment. And I put up in my videos the saying SOP, Save Our Planet. Well, I didn't come up with that myself. Benjamin Creme's master wrote an article in Share International where he says that Maitreya and the masters are hoping that that phrase is so simple, SOP, that every person on this planet will start to say it more and more and more. It will almost become a mantra, if it doesn't become a mantra, that save our planet. Even if we have all our structures, a true reflection of our inner truth and our inner, that we are all one. If we're living in a planet that can't sustain us, or we're living in a polluted planet, eventually that's not going to work either, right? So, but we have to do it together. And that's the other reason why Maitreya is not declaring himself as the world teacher. Eventually he will, but as of right now, he's not. Because he wants for you to want for the world what he wants for the world. Peace, sharing, justice, an environment that's livable. So thank you so much for letting me share my side of the story and share a little bit more of this story with you. And I look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.